Well, first and foremost, just Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope you guys have a good Christmas Eve, good Christmas Day. A chance to at least spend a little bit of time with our families for a few minutes and not think about football for a couple hours would be nice. But yeah, appreciate you guys' work, and I appreciate working with you guys, so Merry Christmas. This week, announcement-wise, injuries, it's an estimation today. The report will come out tomorrow for the full, what an injury report would look like. So we got a bunch of guys dinged up, a bunch of guys that's going to take all week to get some resolution on. So it's a lengthy list this week, unfortunately. And then the other one announcement-wise for you guys is Mason will go at quarterback this week. He'll go one more week for sure. And we'll go down and go try to beat Jacksonville this week. With that, go ahead.
I guess the decision to stick with Mason based on maybe you being pleased with how he did on Sunday and want to give him another shot.
Yeah, I think he's earned himself another shot to play, and he did a lot of good things in the game. Obviously the one interception was probably his only really poor moment. The rest of it was pretty well executed on his part, and operated in a drop back passing game and had to fight his way back through it, and it was good to see. So we'll let him take another crack at it.
Is it safe to say the offense is more on schedule with Mason at quarterback? And the reason why I asked that is because of the huge sack differential, because almost every other stat is almost the same.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that Mason, that's one of his strengths. Where he's got the ability to avoid the negative play when it comes to sacks. He gets the ball out. He knows where to go with it quickly. He's not taken many sacks this year, and it just, when you look at what sacks do to drives, over the course of a season and the scoring percentages, when you take a sack in a drive, it really does have an impact. And that's one of the things that he does well. It's one of the strengths is he finds completions and he doesn't take sacks. So that does help us stay on schedule, certainly.
Does that change your play calling thought process at all with Mason?
Anytime you got different players in, it does change some. There's guys that have different strengths. But we're still, even with that being said, we still went down the field a couple times on Indy. We didn't hold back on that. But one of Will's strengths is down the field throws and throwing the ball downfield. So those are the things that you manage. You manage what they like and what they like best, and those guys all have different preferences, and so you try to make sure you put them in best position to play well.
When you're calling plays, how much communication is there from you to the quarterback of, hey, Chig's going to be open here, look for him, or hey, it's first down, make sure you don't take a sack?
More of those things, like little reminders occasionally, usually like, hey, we're in field goal range, be smart with the ball, can't take a sack here, things like that. I'll try to remind them. But you learn over the years that you got to be really careful about what you tell quarterbacks in the moment, because sometimes whatever you say last sticks in their brain, and they'll predetermine occasionally because of that. So I've done that before, over years of doing this, that you're just really, really careful what you say in the live battle. So you try to keep it short and sweet and a quick reminder, and that's about it, and let them play. Unless you see something or know something ahead of time you feel really confident about, that you want to remind them. But I try to let those guys play.
For J.C. Latham against this team, are you looking forward to see how he bounces back or responds?
Yeah. I am. I think both the guys that they have rushing the passer are they're high picks. They're good players. They're really productive right now. They've played well. So it's a good test for JC to see how he bounces back and plays. I don't think he had his best game the last time we played him, and it's a chance to measure back up and go out there and do it better than he did the last time. So looking forward to seeing that.
Is it harder for leadership to grow and emerge in the context of such a tough season?
I think, to be honest, I think you see more genuine leadership when things are challenging and difficult. You really see what guys want to lead when it gets hard, because it's really easy to lead when things are great and everything's going well. It's easy to be out front and be cheerleading and kind of riding the wave of positivity. It's really, really challenging to lead when it's not going well. And you find out a lot about guys, and you find out a lot about their leadership abilities and their leadership styles. I would argue you find way more about what guys are capable of when things are difficult than you do when it's going well. So I've learned a lot. There's a lot of really awesome things I've seen from a lot of guys in our locker room in the midst of a challenging season and difficult circumstance. And I think a lot of guys have grown from it too. And that's also a really positive thing for us moving forward. And again, these types of seasons reveal your character of your team. They reveal the character of your staff. You get a really real look at what guys are about when things are difficult. So while I don't appreciate the situation and I don't enjoy it so much, it is very informative about what people are about. And I think what excites me is we got a lot of people that are about the right things, and that's a really positive part to come from all this.
All right, I was just saying, from what you've seen, depending on who's in at quarterback, do guys respond differently to Mason versus Will, or vice versa?
Truthfully, I've not seen any real difference. I think we got pros, and they want to go out and play well for whoever's playing, and then play well for themselves on top of it. We got a pretty good unit as far as connection goes, and I think they roll with whatever decision is at any position, and they just try to play their best. I haven't sensed anything that would tell you that they're in favoritism of one or the other. I think they appreciate and respect both guys equally, and they go out and they play hard for them. So that part's been good to see as well. I mean, they've responded to both of them in different circumstances.
It's no secret that getting to 30 points has been really hard around here over the last few years.
Yeah.
Is it just coincidence that Mason has led you to 2 of those now, or is there something more there that you can point to say, we clean up a few other things, we have something in the system and the quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously believe in the system of offense and how we do things, and I believe that we're capable of doing really good things offensively as we continue to get better. Coincidence with Mason? I mean, Mason did it twice, and Will's done it once of the three times we've done it. So it's a small sample size, probably, if you will. So, but again, it's ultimately I don't measure the points necessarily as much as I would like to measure the wins. And I don't really care if we scored 10 points a game if we were winning games. So it's a balance, because I know people want to see offensive improvement. They want to see points on the board. And but at the end of the day, we all just want to see wins. And whatever that looks like for us, we got to find ways to win. But I've been happy with some of the developments offensively. I think there's a lot of growth that's occurred. I think we've done some things a lot better over the course of the season. I think particularly if you look from about the halfway point to now, just the production, the numbers, all those things would bear out that we're improving at a pretty good rate. So that's good to see. 30 points or not, I know that's a topic of discussion around here over the years, but I've liked a lot of the things we've done. We just got to keep doing them better.
What's some of that new information that you've gathered, from seeing your team in this tough situation, and who are some of the guys that have emerged as leaders?
I think guys that you see when things are hard and you see them sort of buckle down and keep fighting. I think the guys that we count on. Jeff's been that way. K9's been that way. I think Calvin has been that way. Like the guys that just kind of come out every day and are the same guy every day and they bring the same energy. Calvin's been awesome for that. Tony Pollard is one of those guys, guys that probably don't get as much recognition for it is a guy like Sebastian Joseph Day, a guy like Dan Brunskill, these guys, the veteran players that have been around and know how to be pros. I've been really happy to see those guys. And we got some young players, I think, that are developing. I think you see Jarvis starting to develop some of those qualities. I think JC's got a lot of those qualities. I think Tavondre's got qualities like that. And the guy that probably doesn't say the most, but probably plays the best, his play has shown his growth, is Peter. I think those guys have a chance to be a really, really awesome core young group of leaders on our team that we've mixed with the veterans we have. But those guys have been great to see. And Tajay, I think over the last couple of weeks, just his demeanor, his energy at practice, the way he's played, he's really come on. Again, in the midst of a challenging season for him, both professionally and personally, he's done a really nice job of fighting through it and being able to show what he's all about. So excited about those guys. There's way more I could talk about, but there's a lot of guys I'm excited about.
Activated Jalen yesterday. You hope to get him back in the mix in some fashion?
I would love to. I'd love to see Jalen play. He was up for the game in Buffalo and only went a couple plays before he hurt his hamstring, and it was a pretty significant hamstring injury. And so we'd like to see him play a bit, and that'll be the plan this week. We'll see what it looks like by the time we get to the game day, but we'd like to see Jalen play some football for us.
You go back to Radens and NPF on the right side this week? I know there were some changes.
Well, Dylan's dealing with an injury, so there's a chance that we're going to see where he gets to by the end of the week. And then I would like to see JD play some. So whether we rotate or he starts or doesn't start, we'll get to that point. I'll let you guys know what we end up doing if there's a decision there for the starting spot. And then I think the thing that was cool to see was Corey Levin stepping in and playing well at center. And then, Dan kicking over to guard. You can just see his versatility and how much, his veteran presence has helped us when we've needed him the most. He's been able to fill in a couple spots. So it very well could look like that again with Corey and Danny working at the guard if Dylan can't play. And then the tackle I'll kind of let you guys know how practice goes once we practice this week.
I'm sure you've coached in games like this before where both teams have been eliminated already. How would you describe what those games are like? Are they any different in standard games? Are guys angry, or are they more lackadaisical? Just how do you describe that?
You hope your team is you. The challenge to our team, and just like any time when you're sort of out of the hunt, is to treat it just like you would the first week of the season. You know, it's the same approach, and you're trying to build that consistency of approach, that consistency of preparation, to where it doesn't matter what the record is or where you're at in the season. Is you're expected to do it a particular way, and I think our guys have done a good job of that part. And these games are what you are. They're whatever you want to make of them. And if you want to go out and play well and play hard, you're going to do that. And I'll say this: Jacksonville's lost, I think, 12 one-score games. I mean, they've been in every dang game they've played. They've battled. They've fought too. So, you know, they're going to fight. They played well last week, defensively in particular. And so there's going to be. You know, it's two teams that are still fighting to play football and play well, and they want to play well for both themselves and their teams. And, you know, we expect it to be a tough physical game. I mean, you kind of throw the records out at this point, and everyone's playing for a lot of different things, but mostly because they want to go play good football.
You talked about a couple tough first-year things
Yeah.
you were involved with. You like the idea of some of these guys looking back at the worst year maybe they've had in football, even if it takes them back to high school, and recalling what that was like and how they dug out of it, because most of them obviously have been involved in a lot of good seasons.
No question. You never want to, I don't want to say this the wrong way, but there is always, when you go through these challenging seasons, it reveals a lot. You end up seeing a lot more of what the truth is, and it allows you to attack it. And I think that's the benefit of it, is you have a bunch of guys that know where we're headed and how we're headed there, and how we can best attack it to where whatever we've done so far, whatever the preparation was into the season, that we don't repeat whatever that was that led us to this point. And how we play, how we practice, if we got to adjust those things, we will. And I know that there's a whole lot of guys that don't want to feel this way again. And I think there is something real to that when you have a season like this where you're determined to not feel the same way and not have the same result. I think that does something to your football team with your approach. And now that we all know each other a lot better after going through battle, which is also a part of it, all these guys know each other better. The coaches know each other better. I think we're best equipped to keep building and moving forward. And knowing that we don't ever want to feel like we do in December like this. I don't want my Christmas to feel like this next year.
You're already playing a whole lot of young guys. Are there any other guys here over the last couple of weeks that you'd like to get a peek at?
I mean, we're going to have some guys have to play from necessity. You know, we're only so many bodies. But no, I mean, all the young. I think we had 10 rookies play in a game last week. So there's a lot of guys that have played for us, and I think, you know, some of the guys that have stepped up on special teams that have had to come up have really been impressive too. So yeah, they're all going to be a part of it. I even told the guys this morning that, you know, we're going to need everybody on the active roster, and we're going to need a handful of practice squad guys this week and to finish the season out the right way, just because that's where we're at in the year. And so I'm looking forward to seeing a bunch of these guys continue to play and see if they can improve their performance.
Colton's still kind of in a build
Yeah,
himself back
he's still building back. He won't be activated this week. I'd say it's probably an outside shot for next week at best. You know, he's still getting back in the routine of practice and all that. He's not quite all the way there yet to play football competitively.
When was the last time you spent Christmas with your dad?
Same thing with Thanksgiving. I'm actually going to have my mom and dad, my brother's in town with his wife and their baby, and my youngest sister's in town with her fiance, and then they're all going to be at my house tonight for Christmas Eve, which I was trying to figure out. I don't know that we've all been together in a holiday, like my brothers and sisters too, since, I was probably in high school. So it's been a really long time. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
In a tough year, is that pretty special?
Oh yeah, it's a moment it's one of those moments you need a little bit of that levity, that, you know, be around people that care about you. And no, it's going to be, I'm looking forward to it. I was telling my mom the other day, I was like, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody, because we all need it. I need it. I know my dad needs it. You know, just a chance to take a step back and take a deep breath and enjoy some family and people that you want to be around.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, guys.
The news that you're going to be back in the saddle Sunday.
Pretty simple. Your plan, you know. I'm excited. Another opportunity, and you know, have a good week of practice and go down and play better football.
You mentioned how, you know, your ability to get the ball out of your hands finding completions helps the offense get more on schedule. Why is that? Is that a part of it? Because we see you spending so much extra time after practice. Is all that built into that?
I think it's just knowing where your checkdowns are and not. We've had a couple back-to-back games now where we're playing from behind, and I don't know what it's like to play offensive line, but I can imagine it's not fun when you're drop back passing just about every snap. And they got great defensive line. Their rush is good, and the quicker I can get the ball out of my hand is the better for our team, for our offensive line.
As you reviewed Sunday, were there things that you liked more than you even thought you did on Sunday, and maybe were some things that have got to be better other than the turnovers?
Yeah, I think when you look at it, we didn't win, and that is really the only criteria that I look at. And obviously, why didn't we win? I think I put our defense in a bad spot a couple times with some turnovers, and can't do that. That's not winning football, and so I'm ready to prove that I can take care of the ball better and keep scoring points.
Coach talked about, I asked him about last words to you when he calls a play, and he said if he says too much, it can imprint on you and predetermine what you're going to do. How much do you want him to stay out of it and keep it simple for you?
I think he's had a great balance of reminders and tips and suggestions, or he really does a good job. It doesn't overload me, and he provides some good reminders situationally. Third down, hey, you might have, we're playing for fourth down here. You got 2 plays here, or no sacks and field goal fringe, zone, so it's the communication's been good.
I know obviously everyone hates turnovers, but I think in particular with him, are first down sacks the bane of his existence?
I think, yeah, first and second down negative plays, right? Sacks, negative, inefficient runs, yes.
A lot of the guys in the locker room, you talk to them and you ask them what they're playing for, and they talk about the name on their back. They talk about what they're putting on film for next year. You personally, how do you approach that? Do you look at what you're doing over these next 2 weeks as like an exhibition? Hey, I want to come back here, or I could go somewhere and still be productive? Yeah,
it's a good question. I think every player wants to have a long career and play in this league a long time. That's for sure. But I want to win this. I want to be where my feet are, and that's right here as a Tennessee Titan, winning games. When I try to put our best foot forward to win this game this week, and that is the only objective.
Mason, you started before in your career. You started earlier this season, a string of games. How much does it help, though? You started last week to have a second week in that. Is it easier, even just week 1 to week 2, a second time around?
Yeah, I think you get into a rhythm and taking the practice reps and being a part of the preparation of the plan and the collaboration with the coaches, and they're very open to input and prioritizing plays that I might like, that I'm comfortable with as we get towards the end of the week. So
you found Chick 9 times last week. He's had a couple of good games here down the stretch. What's made him so effective in the offense?
Yeah, I think as the last 2 weeks, right, we're down considerably, by a couple scores at least, and going back to Cincinnati and then last week, and so you're getting a lot of shell coverage. You're getting a lot of too high where they're taking away Ridley and Nick, and so there's those interior guys, Tyler Boyd, Mason Kinsey made a few nice catches, and the tight ends and Chig. That's kind of all that's all that's there to be taken, and then you pick and choose and try to get a shot when you can. So.
I imagine this is probably the first time in your career you've played in a game where both teams are out of the hunt already. Just kind of how do you approach a game like this, and what do you tell guys, or do guys tell you about playing for in a game like this?
Yeah, I think I have not, but football is football, and we all love the game, and we all want to win, and have a celebration in the locker room after the game, and have a happy plane ride home, and that's what motivates us right now. Is 2 to go, let's get a W, and let's enjoy doing it.
How encouraging has the red zone improvement been, especially over the last 2 weeks, knowing that's been kind of a struggle all year long?
Yeah, there is some good there. That's some improvement, and I think the off-schedule plays. We look at the cut up of red zone touchdowns each week as a quarterback room, and I'd say 90% are off schedule and scramble drill type situations. So we've Bo Hardegree's done a good job, drilling us at that stuff and trying to simulate as much as you can in practice.
With the last name Rudolph, what are the one-liners you've heard this time of year, every year?
Yeah, all of them that you can imagine. I mean, it's fun for the fans at times and for your teammates to rag on you and make fun of you, but it is what it is. I embrace the last name fully.
So Callie didn't ask you to guide his sleigh this week?
No, he did not. He's thankfully he's not that corny. Yeah.
What do you know about the family origins and all that?
Family origins of the name? I'd have to ask the grandparents. It's not exactly. I know I was. Well, actually, I do. I was. My dad is Brett Mason Rudolph the first. I'm the second, and he was named after the golfer from Vanderbilt, Mason Rudolph, who was real popular back in I don't know 60s or 70s. So, yeah.
Jim Wyatt story.
You just make Jimmy's day.
To holidays like this, just to be able to, have tomorrow off and be there with my family. Always a pleasure and always grateful to just wake up and, be able to spend holidays with my family. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing the smiles on their faces for sure. Yeah, I literally got so I got my daughter and mom sent me it's a playhouse, and me not knowing the whole time it's nothing but a lot of wood. It came in a big box, and I'm like, when I opened it up, I got it delivered. I want to say that was Monday, and when I opened it up, I was like, can we find someone on TaskRabbit come do this? So, but no, I'm for sure I'll be up tonight trying to put that thing up because it's a lot of wood.
Okay, we all know what happened last week. How big of a slap in the face is that for this group coming into this week and kind of refocusing on things?
Well, we moved on. We came in and made corrections, and we focused on Jacksonville. We got another good running backs, good little duo they have, and it starts up front. It starts, on the defensive side, being able to stop the run, and we moved on from last week. Made a correction today, and we just ready for the next challenge, and that's Jacksonville. So.
Shocked if they don't run Bigsby and ETN or try to go heavy on them initially, given what they think you guys face?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the same thing pretty much that they tried to do last game. The last time we played them, we know that they're going to try to run the ball. We knew coming in that they was going to try to attack with the run game. And last time we played them, I don't even think they had 100-yard rushing. So we have to go out there with that type of mindset that we're going to, try to stop the run. Like I said, the key into winning, especially having a defensive game of success, is the first thing to stopping the run. So we got to go in this game with a mindset that they're going to do a lot of copycat runs maybe. We're going to see a lot of the same plays with the tackle wrap and the trap and all the things in that nature that Washington did, that the coach did, and now that getting ready to face Jacksonville, we can expect the same thing. So.
Jones is not Daniels or Richardson. You don't have to account for the quarterback in the run game. How much does that change for you?
I mean, it's a different. It's most definitely different. Now you don't have to. Your rules changes. It's more focused on the running backs instead of now we got to focus on two running backs. Which not saying he was running back, but at the end of the day, we knew that. Of course, the coach had the run game with the quarterback and the running back. Now we just got to be able to stop the two running back that they have in Jacksonville.
Just talking about the guys too, about a season like this where you never ever want to have your viewers kind of like who you are and your character, and you really find out.
Yeah, I've been said that. At the end of the day, it's not. We've been out the playoff race 2 or 3 weeks now, so it's not about just kind of going out there and act like we playing for the playoff. It's about really playing for something more than the playoff right now. It's like we know we're not making the playoffs, so what is guys looking and what are they when they attack the field? What's their mindset when they attack the field? Like I said, you can play for a lot of things. Name on your back, your family. Some of these guys, young guys, rookies that came in that got an opportunity to coming out the practice squad and playing and stuff in that nature. So, my job is to try to keep the locker room together, which, nothing that have showed me that, this locker room has split at any time. So the end of the day, it's all about how can we finish these last 2 games off strong.
We left a lot on the table in that last game, that last time playing them. So we left that on the table. We need to take it back.
Just to kind of build off of that, this is a division rival. You played them 2.5 weeks ago. Whoever wins probably avoids finishing last in the division. Is there extra on the line for this for any of those reasons?
Just the fact that it's a division rival, I think that's enough in its own. And us as a team trying to finish on a strong note.
What did you guys leave on the table in the first game? Mason talked about it, that it felt like you moved the ball better in that game than what the points ended up being. What do you have to do to make sure you cash in this time?
Score in the red zone. It was the same thing said after the game. But, yeah, we got to capitalize in the red zone and make those plays to prove what our offense was doing. I think we were moving the ball, but we weren't just getting in the zone.
You guys have been much better in the red zone in the last couple of weeks. Why do you think you have turned the corner there?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know the reason, but it's just being in the right place at the right time. Probably because there was some emphasis after this last game.
I feel like we've asked you this before, but refresh my memory from weeks ago. What's the difference ball coming out of Mason's hand versus
I mean, there really isn't much of a difference. I mean, you play with so many different quarterbacks. Everybody's got a different touch or whatever it is to them, but you know, it's just go out there and just play football.
Well, let me ask you this then. What does he give you, both in the huddle and then from an execution standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, Mason's a great leader. I feel like he comes in there calm, cool, collected, tries to get everybody in the right place. You know, towards the end of this past Indy game, we had a lot going on. We're kind of calling stuff on the fly. Was able to communicate it well.
I know everybody in this room believes in themselves, but if I told you before the season you were 1 away from 10 touchdowns, would you have told me I was out of my mind, or would you say absolutely?
Yeah, no, I probably wouldn't believe you either. I mean, I've thought that this whole season. Going into the year, you know, kind of was my goals were to, you know, carve a role in special teams, be a really good special teamer, because that's kind of what it looked like it was going to be. But God had other plans, and just try to take advantage of those opportunities.
How special would it be for your career to have a 10-touchdown season?
Yeah, it'd be awesome. I mean, I remember the first time it happened was like back in high school. Like freshman year of high school. I think my coach offered like pizzas or something for the whole team if I got 10. It's something like small like that, and so it's kind of reminded me back to that.